everybody, welcome to the Venus Retrograde 30-day challenge for self-care. This is day 7. I hope you've all been doing well with your challenges and you've got a lot out of it so far. Now today is about what we digest. Now what we eat is a fundamental part of how we feel. And many people can put a label on something and say, well, I'm doing this because of this. It's because I have this illness. It's because I have this functionality that I was born with. Now, okay, there are some things that create blocks in ourselves, create challenges within ourselves, in our mindset, in our physical bodies. I understand that. But ingesting in the right way and having a really balanced digestion will actually help you long term. Now, you may not be an addict in terms, okay? You may say, if I say we're all addicts, we all have addictive tendencies. You may say, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't take drugs. What do you mean? I have a healthy meal, I have a healthy diet, I have 3 meals a day. Okay, fair enough, but what are those 3 meals a day and how much do you eat in between? And how do you cheer yourself up? You know, what's your treat? Now, I'm not saying to everybody here, this is not a diet lesson, okay, and a nutritional video, and I'm not telling everybody they're unable to eat this or do that or go out and have fun or, you know, go off the rails. But if you consider when we were cavemen, right, or women, or whatever gender you want to be, we were nourished by what was available, and there was less available, okay? There was, well, saying that, there was a lot available, but there was more energy put into creating better, as in the growth of what was available. So, for instance, you know, if we had to go and hunt meat, if, you know, and this is not against it, if you're a vegetarian, fair enough, but if you needed to eat meat, they would go and hunt for meat, okay? There wouldn't be a question about, are we hurting this animal doing, because it would be done in a humane, well, a natural way that was available at the time with the tools that we have and in the way that was available. Obviously, without all this machinery, we would create our own machinery, right? If we were going to eat vegetables from the land or plants, they would be grown or nurtured, or you'd forage, right? So everything is available to us in a natural way. I want you to consider that really the earth and the universe provides us, right? So those of you in lack are likely to have, or lack of love or self-worth, are likely to have an addictive tendency where food is concerned. Now, it may not be eating it, but it may be shopping for it. It may be that whenever you go into a supermarket, you literally you're going in to find some special offer, right? Because maybe your purse strings are limited, and right now people are finding things a lot less easy with all the changes going on with the government and, you know, prices going up, etc. So, you know, most people have a budget a week for shopping, and so you go into your local supermarket, and maybe you only go in once a week, or maybe you go in every day. We'll get to that in a minute. But you go in and then you look for all the special stuff. Now, we used to laugh because we call it the white label stuff in our supermarket. And there was a time where, in order to survive, and this was before all these changes happened, when I was living back in the UK, where, yeah, everything was limited. You know, we had a very, very tight budget. We didn't have the money to go out and eat out. If we did, it would probably be a takeaway once a week. We weren't able to go down to the pub every night and, you know, and go out partying, whatever. And I used to go shopping, and I would effectively shop all the white labels. You know, I used to consider, right, and I used to do it as a game, but actually this was kind of detrimental to what I was doing in the end. How much can I get in my basket for this amount of money, right? So I would go to all the cheapest options, everything that was like a low price, everything was about the price label. So when I saw a special offer, so for instance, when things were going past their sell-by date, and in this particular supermarket, I mean, people used to hang around this area because you could get like a cucumber for 2 pence, or which is probably about, I don't know, 10 cents in American dollars. And it probably wasn't 2 pence, but it's probably about 20. But nevertheless, they were normally priced between kind of 99 pence and £1.50, right, for these cucumbers. And there was plenty of life in them. And, so you just grab as many as you can. So the tendency would be, right, well, okay, I'm just going to grab everything there because they're all really, really cheap. Now, by the time you get to till, the price because you've done this with everything and all your special offers and you filled you'll have a full trolley, but you may have to end up paying more. Or maybe not. If you've got the right amount, great. You go home kind of thinking, oh, look at everything I've got. Or you end up paying a little bit more, but you say to yourself, but it's worth it because I've got so much more in my basket. Now, this is okay, I suppose, right, from the outside. Quality is something is preserved, right? Because you can hold on to it longer, so you can fill your cupboards. But having more may mean that your cupboards are overflowing. And especially if you've got fresh foods, it means you've got to eat it quicker. And if you haven't got room in the freezer to freeze it, then you really need to do something with it. Now, to do something with it, you might say, okay, well, that's all right, Sarah, because what I'm going to do is I'd just cook it all up and I'd make mini meals or whatever. But then you're using more, maybe you're using more electric, maybe you're using more energy. You're spending all this time making all this stuff when you could have been just doing something else in the present, which was going to manifest more, so you wouldn't have to actually spend money. You could spend more money on quality, right? Now, I talk about quality. The white labels look great, but they're not necessarily quality. A lot of the substances of preserved food is very similar, whether it's because the label is always the thing that kind of attracts us, right? However, there's probably less in it. So, if you look at a packet of crisps now, there's probably less in, it's all air. Everything's air. It's all hot air, It's like us letting out our release. It's all a lot of hot air. It doesn't mean anything. Okay? Now, if you are somebody that is always considering that and saying, well, I can't afford to eat healthily. How was that so when money didn't exist? How did people roaming around the earth eat a healthy diet that came from the land or came from what was available without money? Because they did something, we had to go out and hunt. We've all got everything almost too easily. There's too much option. And we're being attracted by different labels to say that that's better for us. So we're letting the money guide us. We're letting that lead us to what we do next. And the fear that we haven't got enough and that, we need to nurture ourselves more is to go and buy more and to, but really what we're doing is we're buying more, we're wasting more, and we're giving ourselves the wrong thing. So our heart doesn't function as well. Our health isn't as good because we're filling ourselves with sugar. Because everything that is preserved is not natural. It has to have something in it to preserve it. And it might mean, I'm too busy, I've got to do this, I've got to give the kids a pizza. But you can still create a pizza from scratch, all right, which would be more nurturing. It's better to spend the time on quality of making a really, really good, solid, healthy meal. You will find you will spend less if you use less preservatives. So, for instance, if you put something in your meal which is an equivalent to tomato sauce, you put maybe a slight, honey's sugar, but if you were to put a little bit of honey and then you crushed up fresh tomatoes, rather than put ketchup, you'd be saving yourself spending, £2 on some ketchup, and you might have spent £1 on a big punnet of tomatoes. You only had to use 2 of those, right? So that's just an example, and I'm not asking for anybody to kind of comment and go, oh well, I've done this and this costs this. This isn't going to turn into an argument. My point is that what we take into our body reflects on how we behave, from how we see things, how we buy things. It's not even just how we eat. The speed that you eat. Consider that when you digest things. How fast do you eat? Do you eat as if there's nothing, you've got to get it in quick? Is this coming from conditioning from when you were a child that was saying, eat everything on your plate? I mean, I had that. You know, it's like, remember the people that haven't got anything? Eat everything. And I used to just like eat loads and loads and loads. And I was conditioned from that young age to kind of eat more, eat fast. And I was always concerned that I wouldn't, if I didn't eat my first plate, if I didn't eat that quickly, that if I wanted seconds, somebody else would get it first. And I became really aware of this as I got older. This kind of desperation, or like, is that enough? Is that enough? Am I going to be full? Am I going to be fulfilled? Consider that. Do you do that when you eat? Some people out here probably listening are probably going, well, I just don't consider food because it's just fuel, which is a great way to look at it. But then if it's just fuel, do you not eat at all? Or do you just kind of throw whatever is in the fridge down your throat because you can't be bothered to make it? That's just as detrimental to your health and your diet and the balance that you need. We need to be putting into our bodies the right balance of things to help our body grow and to help it work and our heart to function properly so it can feed out to all the other organs, okay? And if you're feeding your heart in the right way, you're going to give it love. You're going to give it food of love. So what I want you to do today, your challenge, is to create a really healthy meal from scratch without using any preservatives. Find a way to create a flavour that you have never done before. If you have to go out and shop for items like vegetables, go and look around in the shop, and I want you to buy the quality product, or what you consider to be the more quality product. Something in a packet is probably going to have a higher price anyway because you're paying for the packaging. Remember that. You're paying for the advertising. You're paying the advertiser and putting money in their pocket. You're not putting good food in your soul. This is all. So really watch yourself. Take a trip round the shop. Look at how you shop. Become aware of how you do that. And start looking at and consider what would be a healthy balance. Now, if you have something which offers a sweet, a sour and a savoury flavour, you probably won't want a sweet, okay? So if you're somebody who always likes a sweet at the end or something, it's probably just to take the edge off. So consider what you could have as a balanced meal with protein, with carbs, good carbs, because we all need them. We need them for energy. And then create a meal, one meal today, which you take time in. Even if you've got to go and look at a recipe, look something up. There'll be loads of things on YouTube, or just Google. There is no excuse now, because now we have the technology we could use in the right way. Back in caveman's times, there wasn't computers. They had to hunt trails. They had to consider, really, really sniff out what's going on. Now we can just look it up. There is no excuse. So spend that time on that meal. And then I want you to, before you eat it, I want you to really, really chew the food. Take your time and time yourself eating it, and take as long as you can. And if necessary, have a glass of water first and a glass of water afterwards. Give yourselves 20 minutes before you consider whether you need any more, and you will probably find that you're full. But I want you to really look at everything you're eating, take in everything, and really, really enjoy the flavours, the natural flavours that are coming, without extra salt, without all these extra additives that you want to plaster your meal with. And start altering your taste buds of things, and start realising how different a quality meal tastes to a non-quality meal. If you want, make 2 meals. Make one which is full of preservatives and one without. And then do a taste test. So that's your challenge today. I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to leave comments below, do. If you'd like to email me, you can. On my email address, on everything is in the description bar. Follow me on Facebook. Go to @WinPossible and follow that page, because there's going to be a lot of things coming in the future. A lot more courses, freebies, some that will be more intense. If you'd like to work with me personally, life coaching, do get in touch with me. It'd be great to hear from you all. And also record what you've done and share it with the community. And I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.